What's going on, everybody? It's Warren. Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder. And with the end of Avengers Infinity War and the Infinity Saga came Marvel's Phase 4. After Spider-Man Far From Home came out, everybody was looking forward to what is coming with Phase 4. What new movies, what new shows, what new heroes, and what new teams of heroes. Disney and Fox completed their deal before the announcement of Marvel's Phase 4, allowing Marvel and Disney to use the X-Men and the Fantastic Four, along with other characters like Deadpool, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And fans were hoping that we would get some type of an announcement. And we have. Kevin Feige mentioned the Mutants and the Fantastic Four, and recently at Disney's Investor Day mentioned the Fantastic Four is in development. But right now we have a very grounded MCU. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier is addressing things that have happened during and after the blip. And currently, as it stands right now, we don't have a current Avengers team. However, that looks like it may be changing in the near future. And it sounds like we won't just be getting one new Avengers team or even two new ones, but could be getting 3 new Avengers teams. And possibly even 4 depending on how long the other Avengers teams last. And don't worry, I'll be breaking down each new Avengers team that could be coming to the MCU, starting off with the Dark Avengers. It's been a while since we've heard about the Dark Avengers, but a new report actually states that a Dark Avengers script has been commissioned by Marvel Studios. And I'll break down everything you need to know, but don't forget about tonight's The Falcon and the Winter Soldier watch party. We're going to be starting it at 11:50 p.m. Pacific time. Can't wait to see you all there. So as I just mentioned, one of the first new Avengers groups that could be coming to the MCU is the Dark Avengers. And this is actually very suiting for the current state and time that the MCU is currently in. And the original story of the Dark Avengers in the comics could very easily be adapted to what is happening in the MCU right now. Not a page-by-page copy, of course, because that's not what Marvel does, but let me explain the premise of the Dark Avengers and how easy it would be to adapt their storyline into the MCU. The Dark Avengers are relatively new in Marvel Comics. They first appeared in 2009. They had 16 issues and ran throughout the Dark Reign and Siege storylines. And here's a very quick briefing of what you need to know about them. This is set in pretty dark times. It's set during the aftermath of the Skrull secret invasion, where some heroes ended up being Skrull in disguise. This leads to the government actually not really trusting the Avengers. So the government reforms S.H.I.E.L.D., now known as Hammer, and appoints Norman Osborn the head of it. When this happened, he was actually leading the Thunderbolts team. So he takes this opportunity of his new state of power to start his own team of heroes. This new team consisted of Sentry, Novar, Ares, Matt Gargan as Spider-Man, a Moonstone Captain Marvel, a Bullseye Hawkeye, a Daken Wolverine, and Norman Osborn himself is the Iron Patriot. Now, the thing about the Dark Avengers is they are essentially a government-sanctioned team. Again, the government didn't trust the old Avengers team, so they made a new one. This is currently kind of happening in the MCU right now. All of the old Avengers that went against the Sokovia Accords were pardoned. They are criminals no more, but you can see how after Civil War and the Sokovia Accords, the government may not trust the Avengers. Even during Avengers Infinity War, Thunderbolt Ross was still trying to arrest part of the team. But of course they saved the world in Avengers Endgame, so their crimes are essentially forgotten, but the government does not trust them necessarily. And this is actually demonstrated with the government appointing their own new Captain America in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Right now we're led to believe that Falcon gave up the shield and the title of Captain America, but it seems like there's a lot that we don't know. And Sam himself says Bucky has to accept the fact that it's something that him and Steve himself may not understand. So perhaps there's more that meets the eye here. Either way, it's very clear that these are dark times right now in the MCU, and it's clear that the government wants to be in control of the so-called superheroes. Thunderbolt Ross wanted this with the Sokovia Accords. That's what it was really about, the government controlling the team of superheroes, and now they elected their own Captain America. It seems like it's only a matter of time until they actually elect their own Avengers team, and this is where the Dark Avengers would come into play. Now, we don't have Norman Osborn in the MCU yet, but who knows what Spider-Man No Way Home has in store for us. It's very possible that they could introduce him, or they could introduce him in some other way, or they actually kind of don't even need him. Just because he's in the comic storyline doesn't mean that he has to be in the MCU storyline. Disney and Marvel have confirmed that they are going to be releasing a Marvel Disney Plus show titled Armor Wars. This is going to star Rhodey, who is currently the Iron Patriot, and apparently is going to be about what happens when Stark tech falls into the wrong hands, specifically Iron Man armors. This could introduce Norman Osborn or a character similar to him, or Rhodey could even be the one elected to lead the new Avengers. After all, he is well respected and he is in the Air Force currently, so he does work for the government. He'd be a pretty great choice, but he'd most likely run into some problems considering the fact that they'd probably want him to do things that he wouldn't be comfortable with. Then of course we have the Disney Plus show coming, Secret Invasion, which is about the Skrull and the Secret Invasion of course. This storyline also sets up the premise for the Dark Avengers. And as I mentioned in the beginning, a while ago it was reported that a script had been commissioned for a Dark Avengers either movie or show. And now we have some more rumors that Marvel Studios is working on derivatives of the Avengers, meaning Dark Avengers, Young Avengers, and the West Coast Avengers, which we're about to talk about right now. The Young Avengers are pretty obvious because they've already started to set them up within the MCU. In WandaVision, we were introduced to the twins, Billy and Tommy. And real quick spoiler alert if you have not seen the finale of WandaVision. We were introduced to the twins, and even though by the end of WandaVision they were no more, in the post-credit scene, the second post-credit scene, Wanda did hear them calling out to her, implying that they will come back. Then we have Harley Keener from Iron Man 3, who was there at Tony Stark's funeral at the end of Avengers Endgame. Of course, Kate Bishop is going to be introduced in the Hawkeye series played by Haley Steinfeld. Kamala Khan is coming with the introduction of the Ms. Marvel series on Disney Plus, and seemingly in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier in the last episode, they just recently introduced Eli Bradley, the son of Isaiah Bradley. And Eli is one of the founding members of the Young Avengers and goes by the hero name of Patriot. So the groundwork for the Young Avengers has already been laid, and it's only a matter of time until they actually appear as a group. Then we have the West Coast Avengers, and it seems like we may have gotten the start of this team in WandaVision with the introduction of White Vision. The West Coast Avengers was an Avengers group started by Hawkeye at the suggestion of Vision. And in the comics, the West Coast Avengers Vision is White Vision. And this is a separate group from the original Avengers that's meant to expand the Avengers' influence. And the fact that WandaVision introduced us to this new version of Vision, who is a white version and just disappeared during the finale to who knows where, could be the start of the West Coast Avengers, because we know that he's going to come back. Marvel just doesn't introduce people and send them away to never see them again. There's a specific purpose here, and hopefully he does come back and play a pretty big role in a new Avengers team. And of course, I have to mention the actual new Avengers team. All these Avengers teams are kind of side Avengers teams, but they are exciting nonetheless. But of course, when the time comes for the world to need our actual Avengers team, we're going to be introduced to the new Avengers. And of course, this team is going to consist of characters that we've already seen and some new characters to come, and we know that it's going to be super exciting. And of course, if I hear any news about that, I'll be sure to do a video updating you, so be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the latest videos. In the meantime, let me know what you think about these other Avengers teams, and let me know which Avengers team you would be most excited about in the comments down below. Don't forget to like the video, and for live updates, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. As always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.